Hey everyone, welcome back to Bagel TCG. Today we're going to be doing a pretty unique video for the channel because we're going to be talking about a TCG other than Flesh and Blood. We're going to be talking about Altered TCG. This is one of the newest TCGs on the market. Actually, at the time of recording this video, it's not even officially released yet. It releases September 13th, 2024. So it'll be out officially in just a few weeks from the time of recording this. I think the game looks really cool. I'm really excited for it, so I wanted to make this video, talk about the game a bit, and I'll probably also be making some more strategy content about the game in the future on the channel. So keep an eye out for that as well. But first, I'm just going to talk about the game. If you're thinking about getting into it, wanted to see what it's about, you can see some more about it here. Of course, I have my own website, bagel-tcg.com, and I'm going to have some articles and some deck lists uploaded here. For now, I have 3 kind of starting powerful deck lists that you can check out, but this will be more to come for now, but this will be linked in the description, so go check it out. Let's talk about Altered TCG. So this is a game, I believe it's by Equinox, which is based in Paris, and it's very innovative for quite a few different ways. One is the digital integration, and another is just how it plays. So I think those are kind of the 2 main ways that it's unique. I definitely recommend checking out their website. A lot is still in progress. You can see the way to make decks and the way to buy and sell stuff is still coming soon. So a lot of the website is still locked, and I think will hopefully come out on the official release in a few weeks. But there's a lot of cool features here. You'll find out why they do all the market themselves soon. But yeah, there probably won't be much on like TCG Player or other stuff for this because you're going to be able to do all your buying and selling if you want directly through their market, which I think is really cool. But let's look at some cards. So they are going to be using Board Game Arena as the official digital client. I recommend coming on here. You can do this learn option, click play tutorial. I'll link this as well. And then you can also play real time or turn-based against other players. At the moment, it's only the starter decks that are available, but once again, on the official release at September 13th, there should be everything available, and you'll be able to import your cards and your collection as well to play online. So pretty exciting, but for now, we're going to look at some stuff from the tutorial. It's a very interesting game. You can see it looks almost more like a board game with how it plays. You have a 40 card deck to start, so also a bit of a smaller deck, and it is locked behind rarities. So you get to play up to 24 commons. I think actually you can play as many commons as you want, but you can play up to 15 rares and up to 3 uniques. I'll talk more about that soon, but your hero, I believe, also counts as one of your cards. So your deck is 39 cards, basically. And yeah, it's only 15 rares maximum and 3 uniques. Those are really your powerful cards, and then commons to fill that out from there. So you can have, if you have the full 15 rares and 3 uniques, you should have about 21 commons in the deck. And you're really going to be trying to play based around your hero and its ability, and also those powerful cards to make some strong synergies and set you up. The board is pretty unique. There's no combat in the sense that you're not like attacking the opponent directly. There's no life totals that we're worried about here. The game is about reuniting your hero over here on the left and your companion on the right, which I think is kind of sweet. So you can see each hero is them and their companion. So here we have Akesha and Taru. The opponent is Sigismar and Wingspan. They all have an ability, so like this, after you, or Sigismar's is making a 1/1/1 every day. And you can see there's 3 stats on every card. This one is a 1/2/1, and that's on that left side there. So there's the nature, earth, water. I don't know what the actual terms for them. That's kind of what I call them. Usually in my head, I actually call them like green, orange, blue. But yeah, there's the 3 stats, and you need to be winning in one of the appropriate stats each turn to be able to advance. So in the starting regions, you can see that all 3 stats here are available. But after you move to these clouded regions, these will flip over, and only specific ones will be the winning region. So for example, if it's just water, or for example, this card would be good in just mountain. If a region is just mountain, you're only comparing that mountain stat. So if I play this here, I would actually lose in the mountain stat. Right now, I'm losing in this region overall because you can see we're tied, which nothing happens when you're tied. but they are winning in mountain, and of course the starting zones count all three, so they would advance here. When your tokens are on top of each other, you win the game. If you get on top of each other in the same day, they call turns days in this game, then there is a kind of sudden death tiebreaker at the end, where there's one more turn, and whoever just has the most stats overall on that turn wins the game. So it's actually a pretty elegant way to do a tiebreaker that I enjoy. But looking at the stats, there is kind of the traditional Magic the Gathering, Lorcana mana system, but there is some interesting changes to it. So you draw 2 cards every turn, and then you can put 1 card from your hand face down into your mana. So yeah, any card can be a resource, which I think is a great change. It's kind of what the modern TCGs are doing. They go face down just like Lorcana, and you're drawing 2 every turn, so you get to go up 1 resource each time. But you do also kind of get 2 uses from every card, almost every card. So you can see this one costs 2, which is the number in the top left. But there's a smaller number 1, which means from your reserve, it costs 1. So when you play a card, this one I paid 2 resources. You can see I've used 2 resources to play it here. At the end of the turn, it actually goes to your reserve. And then from your reserve, you can play cards another time. Once you've played them from your reserve, they get fleeting, which means instead of going back to your reserve, they go to your discard. So you basically get 2 uses from every card. Some are cheaper or more expensive in one or the other. So you can see this one's 3 in both, but it's actually more powerful to play the Ysmir Stargazer from your reserve because it'll cost 1 resource less. I think that's really interesting. There are some cards that you can't do that with. So for example, this spell has fleeting. So it says send me to discard instead of reserve after my effect resolves. So this would not go to reserve. It goes straight to discard instead. So some stuff has fleeting where it doesn't work, but a lot of things will be able to get 2 uses out of them, which I think is really cool. It makes it so you have less advantage kind of from card advantage. Like since you're drawing 2 cards every turn and your cards can get up to 2 uses, of course card draw is still powerful, but it's not really like the end all of the game because you're going to get so much uses out of every card and you're drawing 2 per turn. So if you on one turn choose not to put anything into your mana, you can kind of get 4 total uses out of those 2 cards a lot of times. So a lot of extra uses there, which I think is really, really powerful. Yeah, that is kind of the game and how the resources work. You know, there's the traditional mana cost and then the reserve cost. There's abilities on all the cards. And then all of the characters have stats for each region. You need to be winning in the appropriate region to advance. And then when the tokens get on top of each other, you win the game. Most characters have specific abilities. So you start the game. There's like morning where you reset everything. So you get your mana back and you draw the cards and you put 1 into the resource. Then there's at noon, which is noon is kind of where all the automatic triggers happen. You don't do anything except have triggers at noon. So this one makes this free 1/1/1. And then there's afternoon, which is basically when all the actual game happens, is during afternoon with all the extra plays. And then I think dusk is like the end of the turn. And then it's called days, which I think is kind of a cool sound to it. Not that hard to learn and discuss correctly when playing. But the gameplay has been really fun. You have the 2 sides you can put your characters on, of course. So you can sometimes double advance, like right now they would be double advancing, which is really powerful. And you can choose whether you put your characters on your hero side or your companion side. It makes it pretty interesting balancing act. And a lot of the hero abilities and deck archetypes I find really enjoyable. For example, this is a deck that I'll be probably doing a deck tech on soon. It's with the Muna hero, Teja and Nara. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's a lot about putting counters. They're called boost counters in this game, but they basically give it +1 in all the regions. Putting counters on your characters and then giving them anchored, which means they stick around an extra turn. Because usually, like I said, your characters will go back to your reserve when your turn ends, or if they have fleeting, they'll go directly to your discard. But these characters can get anchored. So anchored basically, it says during rest, I don't go to the reserve and I lose anchored. So when this enters, it will get anchored. You put a little counter on it of an anchor. At the end of the turn, you just take that counter off, and then it gets to stay for an extra turn. So you get a basically double use out of these cards, which makes any kind of buffs more powerful. This deck's built a lot around plants, which I think are also cute. Some of the art in this game is just beautiful. Like, look at this cute little mushroom guy and this little Kodama. So I really like the art in this game too. When I first saw this game, you might notice that, of course, there's a QR code in the bottom of all the cards. When I first saw it, I thought, and when I heard about it, I thought it would kind of be ugly and disruptive from what I was used to. You know, like, oh, there's a QR code on all my cards. But honestly, I've played the game for like only a week now, and I don't notice it at all. So I think it's because it's quite small. It's like not that much of the card real estate, and the art, especially on the full arts, is so beautiful that like, are you really looking at the QR code when you see this? No, you're looking at the cute little mushroom guy. So I don't think it's that big of an issue, and it leads to a really cool aspect of the game where every card is unique. It has a unique QR code on it. When you get that card, you scan it, and it becomes only yours. You can trade and buy and sell those cards on the official marketplace that I showed earlier. And yeah, when you want to take a card to an event, you have to be the digital owner of that card. So you can, I guess anyone can have the physical, you could hand it to whoever, and it doesn't really matter. But the person that's the actual digital owner of the card has to be the one only person that can register it for a major event. So pretty cool aspect of it there. There are also uniques in the game. Let me see if I can show you unique. I think I own 2 so far, if it'll work and I can go into my collection here. And uniques are really cool. Basically, I don't know exactly how they generate them, but it's some sort of like AI or just auto generation. Maybe I'm using AI too liberally there, but they automatically generate variations of cards. So there is, yeah, you can see their website still is getting some kinks worked out. But it generates some kind of variation of an existing rare, and it's a unique version of it, just as the name implies. You can have up to 3 in your deck, and it is the only version of that card in existence. So that specific resource, cost, stats, ability, that combination, that card is the only one that exists of that card. So I think that's really cool. It makes it so they can have a pretty large variety in price. Okay, so you can see I have these 2 here. So these are my rares, but then these have these really cool like gold top. These are uniques. I mean, you can see my QR code if you want. It doesn't matter because whoever has it in their account is the one that has it. But you know, these cards are variations on their typical effects, and I'm the only person that can have this card. I own it, and no one else can use this exact version. So maybe someone else in the world has one that has a 2 in water instead of a 2 in mountain, and that would be their version of the unique, and it probably did generate something like that. But I'm the only one that has this exact copy, which I think might seem at first like it would be like a feels bad, because like, well, what if someone has really a broken one? But honestly, I've seen so many of them, and none of them have been like so absurdly broken that it's going to cause an issue. There's also only 3 out of your 39 cards that you're going to present are going to be unique, so you might not draw it every game anyways. But I think they're really cool. You can build kind of strategies around them, or find one and be like, oh, I really want to have a deck now with that. So I think they're a cool thing to have in your deck overall. They're pretty interesting. And yeah, I'm excited to see them. Of course, if anything's broken, I hope they address it. But for now, I think it's an exciting thing, and the game's trying to push a lot of boundaries. So I'm excited for them to try to push that one as well, and we'll really see how it turns out. But yeah, that is Altered for the most part. You are trying to reunite your hero and your companion by putting stats in both zones, trying to be at the head of each region that's appropriate for advancing, and it has a pretty modern resource system similar to Lorcana. It has heroes, similar to like Flesh and Blood, with cool abilities that are kind of interacting all the time, and the art is honestly, in my opinion, just gorgeous. So I'm pretty excited. I'll be making more deck techs leading up to and after release on September 13th. So I do recommend going to your local game store and pre-ordering some booster boxes or getting some starter decks. There was a Kickstarter, and there's a lot of Kickstarter product going around for this game right now. But I mean, if you can find it for a really good price, like similar to a release product, then go for it. But a lot of it's really marked up right now. Like regular booster boxes are like, maybe 100 to 115, and then the Kickstarter ones are like 200 to 250. Don't really think it's worth it. You should probably just wait till official release, unless you're just rolling in it. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you're gonna play Altered, what hero or region you're gonna play as, and any kind of hero you want to see coming up. But thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.